In this module, we will see how the genes are helpful in expression of traits. If you just go through all these modules, let us try to find out the mechanism of heredity. How does it actually work? At the cellular level, there is DNA. This is the DNA who is going to provide information to create or to synthesize proteins. Okay, and these proteins, it is coded on a fragment of a DNA, and that fragment of a DNA is called as a gene. And this is the place where the protein synthesis is being, the information for protein synthesis is being kept. Now, how do the proteins control the characteristics? And do you feel that the proteins are responsible for the traits, or are the genes responsible for the traits? Let us see that in the next slide. Take an example of a plant. A plant grows because it grows tall, its height is a trait which we will see, and this height is triggered by a hormone. This is effect of a growth hormone. Now, in this case, if the growth hormone is produced more, the plants will be tall, whereas if the growth hormone is produced less, it might lead to dwarf plants. Now, who actually triggers the quantity of growth hormones? How much should they be produced? It is triggered by an enzyme. Okay, it is the enzyme that is very important. If this enzyme works efficiently, then a lot of hormone will be made and the plant's height will increase. If the enzyme's efficiency is reduced, then the hormone production will be impacted. As a result, the plants will be dwarf. And who will determine the efficiency of the enzyme? It is the gene. So what we conclude is gene, who in turn triggers the enzyme activity, who in turn triggers the growth hormones, who in turn affect the height, tallness or dwarfness of a plant. So it is the gene who is responsible for traits. Let us try and interpret Mendel's experiments and what does it actually mean. We know that parents are equal contributors of DNA in their progeny. So if they are equally contributing DNA, do they contribute a copy of the same gene? Exactly the same exact copy from mother, same exact copy from father? Or does it mean that the pea plant that we studied in the dihybrid cross, yellow, round, yellow, green, or yellow, round, and green wrinkled seeds, does this mean that each pea plant had a set of all the genes? Two sets. So the progeny can decide which set to take, or it maybe they can just give away that set. No, it does not work that way. Because if it had done, then the dihybrid cross results would have been completely different. The dihybrid cross results, if you remember, they showed us a ratio of 9:3:3:1 with all sorts of combinations, permutations. Now, if both the parents had a set of all the genes, maybe that result would not have got. So then what exactly happens, or how do the germ cells, the reproductive cells, make a single set of genes from their parents? How does that happen? So for this to happen, then what we conclude is the DNA as a whole, the gene is not throughout the DNA. It is not present all over the DNA. Rather, it is on separate independent places, gene 1, gene 2, which we called as chromosome. So each gene set is on a separate piece called as chromosome, which will be given, or which will be referring to either each of male and female parents. Now every germ cell will take one chromosome from each pair, so it can either be from parent or father or mother, maternal or paternal origin. When these germ cell will combine in the new progeny, when they combine, the number of chromosomes will get normal or will get restored. Okay, thus in the progeny, this will bring about a stability of a DNA in the progeny DNA in the new species, because the number of chromosome has been restored back. Okay, this mechanism of inheritance was very well explained through Mendel's two monohybrid as well as dihybrid crosses, and eventually we see this working even today for all organisms which sexually reproduce.